The next dish we're gonna make is such a great dish for the springtime. It has a really bright green flavor. We're gonna make lentil and mushroom meatballs with an arugula lemon sauce. And obviously the arugula and the lemon gives you that kind of brightness that we have all wanted after this ridiculously long winter. So before we get started with anything, I just wanna point out a few things you should have cooked already, and that's gonna make this go a lot faster. This is a 1.5 cups of lentils that are cooked already ahead of time. And I cook those in broth. It just gives them a little more flavor. And this is 1 cup of brown rice that's also cooked and ready to go. And then this is a cup of walnuts that I just ran through the food processor and pulsed for a few seconds, so you can see they get kind of crumbly. And if you have all that stuff ready, the rest of this will not take much time at all. So to get started right now, I have a tablespoon of olive oil I'm going to add to a pan, along with 1 small white onion and 2 cloves of garlic chopped. And we're gonna put those on a medium saute and saute them for about 5 to 10 minutes to get them really soft. And now I have some mushrooms. And how many do I have? These are like 6 big white mushrooms. You can use like 2 or 3 portobello caps if that's what you like. That would just be fine. So we are going to just rough chop these mushrooms, and we would just want to get them like in small little pieces. So slice them and then just chop them into little tiny pieces. And that's going to help them blend really well with the lentils. Alrighty, the mushrooms are chopped, and we're gonna take these over to the stove and add them to the pan with the onion and garlic. And we're also going to add a tablespoon of Bragg's liquid aminos, or a tamari sauce would be fine. And I have 2 teaspoons of oregano and 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. So we're gonna get all of this into the pan and saute for a few minutes. We have all of our mushrooms and veggies so far off the stove and in this big mixing bowl. And now to that, I'm gonna add the cooked lentils. So that's 1.5 cups of cooked lentils. We're gonna mix them together and then add half of this to the food processor. And we're trying to make it mushy. And what that's gonna do is help everything stick together. If we have this kind of mushy mixture of lentils and mushrooms, then we can form our meatballs with it a little bit better. So we'll put half in and blend that up. There we go. And this is how we make lentil meatballs without having to use eggs as any kind of a binder. And that's great because that also keeps this cholesterol free for those of you watching your cholesterol. So add that back into the bowl. And then we'll add the rest of the dry ingredients that are gonna help hold the meatballs together. So this is a cup of cooked brown rice, a cup of crushed walnuts, and a 1/2 cup of rolled oats. So now that the mixture is all together and made, we're gonna start forming little meatballs. And you can make these kind of tiny if you want. I think they're very cute that way. And they would be nice like appetizers if you have your friends over for a spring party. So remember, everything in here is already cooked, so nothing bad will happen to you if you made them too big and they didn't get cooked all the way through. But we're not really cooking them as much as we're going to brown them. So we're gonna make some little meatballs, and then in a pan with a little bit of hot oil at the bottom, we're just gonna drop them in the pan and then turn them like every 2 or 3 minutes to try and get them brown on all sides. So the meatballs are browning on the stove, and we're going to make that arugula lemon sauce right now. And this is super easy. We're just throwing a bunch of stuff in the food processor. So we're gonna start with a cup of arugula, a cup of packed arugula. And what that just means is when you have these kind of leafy vegetables, you get a measuring cup and you pack them in and squish them in as far as they can go. And then when you have a cup's worth, that is a cup of packed arugula. Easy enough. This is a 1/4 cup of basil, and a 1/4 cup of parsley, You can tell this is obviously going to be very springtime ready, nice and green. And this is a half of a cup of tahini, and that's going to give us the base of our sauce so it's nice and creamy. And we're also going to add a half cup of water so it's not too thick. 1 garlic clove. We'll just cut that up a little bit, make it easier to blend. And the juice of 1 lemon. And just a little pinch of salt. Okay, that's everything. We're just gonna get this blended. Ooh, look at that color. Welcome to spring. There we go. That looks awesome. Okay, so we are just gonna put this in a small dish, and then we'll get the meatballs off the stove and we will be ready to plate and serve. Okay guys, we are all set. Here it is, our lentil and mushroom meatballs with a delicious arugula lemon sauce to drizzle on top. You can dip these in there. If you make the meatballs really tiny, you can stick some toothpicks in there, have them like an appetizer at a party, or you know what, put it on a bun and make a burger out of them if you really want to. So I hope you'll try these at home and really enjoy them.